If you ever find a listing that seems too good to be true, it probably is, especially if it's buried on some obscure rental site, with no reviews, no photos of the inside, and an address that doesn't quite match the map pinned on my partner, and I thought we'd found the deal of a lifetime. Instead, we uncovered something that should have stayed hidden, something that didn't want to be found. And when we tried to leave, we realized we were never supposed to leave at all. Alex and I had been together for 6 years, the kind of couple that thrived on escape. We'd driven across desert highways with no GPS, hiked trails that weren't on any map, even camped beneath the northern lights with nothing but a sleeping bag and a bottle of wine. So when we found a cabin rental for the weekend that claimed to be completely off-grid deep forest retreat, we jumped at it. The listing was odd cheap, only a few blurry images and no reviews, but it looked charming in its own way. A wood, one-bedroom with a fireplace, far from the city lights, surrounded by trees. We booked it within minutes. The drive was beautiful, until it wasn't. 2 hours in, paved roads turned to gravel, gravel turned to dirt, cell service vanished, our GPS began to spin. We double-checked the printed directions, the host emailed us, but the landmarks turned left at the broken oak. Past the rusted mailbox felt surreal. When we finally arrived, the sun had dipped. Behind the tree line, the cabin stood quietly in a clearing, tucked between gnarled trees. Its darkened windows reflected our headlights as we parked. It looked like no one had been there in years. Still, inside, it was cozy, a bit dusty, sure, but there was charm. The walls were lined with shelves of books, a fireplace, a faded armchair. The air smelled of old pine and forgotten stories. We lit a fire, uncorked a bottle of wine, and melted into the night. That first night was perfect. Silence, stars, a sky so black you felt like you were floating. We laughed, we told stories, we made plans for the future. We didn't know then that something had already begun watching us. The next morning, I woke early. A strange draft leaked into the bedroom. I pulled the covers tighter and rolled over, when I felt something rigid under the mattress. Curious, I lifted the edge. There, folded and yellowed, was a torn piece of paper, in shaky, almost frantic handwriting. It said, "This place isn't safe after dark." I stared at it, heart skipping. Showed it to Alex. He chuckled nervously. Probably a joke from some weirdo, trying to spook renters. But the tone of the note felt ... sincere, not like a prank, like a warning. That evening, things felt different. The forest, once peaceful, now whispered. Birds had vanished. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. As the sun dipped, an eerie pressure filled the air. We were in the living room when we heard it. Footsteps, on the porch, soft, deliberate. We froze. The doorknob jiggled. A pause, then a violent rattling like someone trying to break in. Alex jumped up and looked through the peephole. Nothing. He opened the door. The porch was empty. We didn't sleep that night. At dawn we inspected the porch. No tracks, no footprints in the dirt, but along the side of the cabin, 3 deep scratches etched the wood. Vertical and wide apertures. If something with claws had tried to climb. Alex shrugged it off. Maybe a bear, or a raccoon. But his voice didn't sound convinced. We decided to take a short hike, to shake off the unease. The woods were dense and quietened naturally so. Not a bird, not a squirrel. Just ... silence. About a half-mile in, we found something chilling. A small clearing. At its center, a ring of stones, blackened with ash. Burn marks radiated outward like sunbeams. And next to the stones ... bones. Small, too small for deer. We didn't speak of it, just turned back. That night, something changed. The cabin no longer felt like a shelter. It felt like a trap. We lit the fire and tried to relax, but the shadows grew taller, darker. Around midnight, we heard it again, a soft tapping not from the door, but the ceiling. Tap, 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 tap. Alex climbed a chair to check. Nothing. The noise stopped. Then came the humming, faint, childlike, a tune neither of us recognized. It floated through the walls like smoke. Alex grabbed the flashlight. We searched every room. And that's when we found the trapdoor, hidden beneath a large woven rug. A small iron ring embedded in the floor. Alex pulled it open. A ladder descended. Into darkness. It didn't want to go down, but he insisted. Below, a root cellar. Cold, damp, smelling of old earth and decay. Shelves lined the walls. Jars of something black and moldy. At the back, a crate. Inside, a child's toy wind-up rabbit with broken eyes. When Alex touched it, it began to turn and play a warped lullaby. Beside it, a photo, a family of 4, standing in front of our cabin. 2 kids, a woman, a man, but their faces scratched out, violently, with something sharp in the background, barely visible between the trees. A 5th figure watching later that night, while trying to burn the image of the photograph out of our minds. I noticed something strange on the mantel. The journal. We had seen it our first night. A leather-bound book, missing pages, forgotten among old pine cones and wax-dipped twigs. But now, it looked whole. No pages torn, no dust, as if it had been freshly placed there. I opened it. The ink was smudged in places, but the entries were legible. First night, something in the trees. Watching, I thought it was just my nerves. Second night, heard scratching at the windows. My wife swore she saw eyes. Third night, cellar door was open. We never opened it. Fourth night, my son says he hears singing, a lullaby. I haven't slept. The last few entries grew more desperate, the handwriting slanting wildly. We tried to leave. The road was gone. It won't let us go. It won't let us go. This cabin was never meant to be rented. I snapped the book shut. That night, I dreamed of that scratched-out family, of the trees moving on their own, of being dragged under the floorboards. Alex didn't speak much. He stared into the fire, jaw clenched, flinching at every crackle. Then, the fire went out. We hadn't touched it. The embers were cold, like it had been gone for hours. Then came the knocking. 3 slow knocks at the back door, not the front, the one that faced the deep woods. We waited. Then it knocked again, and a voice, muffled, hoarse, calling Alex's name. We stayed frozen until sunrise. We waited for dawn like it was salvation. As soon as the light hit the trees, we packed our things. We didn't even eat, just grabbed what we could carry and rushed to the car. The forest seemed alive with whispers as we moved. Every shadow looked like it wanted to reach out and stop us. But we kept going. I turned the ignition. The engine sputtered, then died. I tried again, and again. Nothing. Alex got out to check under the hood. I stayed inside, gripping the wheel. Seconds turned to minutes. Then I heard him call me. Not in his voice, but mine. I ran out. Alex, he was gone. I followed his trail deep into the woods. Branches scratched at me like claws. I finally found him, standing still among the trees, back turned to me. His clothes were soaked, his shoes gone, his voice low and robotic. We can't leave. It won't let us. I screamed his name. He didn't move. I touched him and he collapsed. Somehow, I dragged him back to the clearing only to find the cabin gone. In its place, a circle of dead trees. That night, I huddled beside Alex, unconscious and freezing. When I awoke, he was gone. Only his footprints remained, leading to the woods and vanishing mid-path. I wandered until a park ranger found me stumbling onto the highway. I told them everything. They said, that area hasn't had cabins in decades, just protected forest. No roads, no rentals, no history. But they humored me, took me back to the coordinates. There was nothing, just trees. And yet, as we left, I looked back and for a split second, I saw it, the cabin, hidden in the trees, waiting for someone else to find it. Alex was never found. Officially, he's listed as a missing person. No trace, no leads, just disappeared. I went back to the site twice over the years. Nothing. The forest swallows everything. Then last month, I got a package, no return address. Inside, a Polaroid, the same family photo from the cellar, except now, we were in it, Alex and me, standing beside the others, faces scratched out, and a note, you weren't supposed to leave. Locals call it Whispering Wood. They say if you enter the forest after dusk, you'll never come out the Samoa, come out at all. Some believe the land was cursed by the last of an old tribe, whose sacred ground was disturbed by early settlers. Others speak of a shadow that lives in the trees, an ancient watcher that feeds on fear, traps souls in snapshots of time. Park rangers report hearing humming when they patrol the deeper trails. They chalk it up to wind, animals, or imagination, but they never linger after dark. And that cabin, it's not on any official record, but satellite images show something at an irregular shape that moves every few months, always in dense, unreachable woodland, always near a missing person report. Some even claim the cabin chooses its guests. Not everyone who finds it is allowed to leave. If you made it this far, I want to hear from you. What do you think happened in that cabin? Was it something paranormal, a twisted human presence, or something far darker, something ancient, tied to that land? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And remember, if a place ever feels like it doesn't want you there, listen to it, because some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed again.